Ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. Well, let's take a look at this. Current blood sugar is sitting at 7.8. This is at 2:22 in the afternoon, fully calibrated. We don't have to really worry about this with the 70/80 and if you're using the G4 sensors. Active insulin is 4.95 units. That's from my snack, lunch, and then snack. So we did this the same day as yesterday, so that's why the blood sugars. If we move along and open it up here, we have connected, everything's okay. So I know that the whole system is working correct. My battery power is high. The sensor battery is at 74%. I have 3 days left on the sensor, and I'm 90.2. So if we get rid of that, we go back, it'll show the same information it did yesterday, that we are at 100%. Blood sugar is at 7.6. So, today, I want to discuss, well, I don't really want to discuss, but I'm going to tell you a check-in. Something that threw my diabetes out the window, and yesterday I was just so tired after it. I pretty well slept the whole day away yesterday. So stay tuned, we'll be right back. Okay, my blood sugars. The night before, I pulled, somehow during the night, whether I pulled it out or I knocked it out, the unit which accepts the insulin and puts it into my body, the delivery apparatus, was pulled out. So my blood sugar went high. It was about 14 when my machine finally, something's wrong here. Your blood sugar is going high. You should check this out. Well, I checked it out and I thought, okay, I'm going to press this again, and then we should be fine. I bolused, gave myself a correction, It was something like 0.22 of a unit, but I gave it anyway and went back to sleep. About half an hour later, you're reading 16. And I thought, okay, something's wrong here. So I pulled out my delivery apparatus, this part that goes into the scanner. I'm not going to show you it. And it was somehow got pulled out and was kinked. So the insulin wasn't getting to my skin. At this point, I was really feeling sick. I started the whole, I think I drank close to 1 liter of water just straight down. Ooh. I was so thirsty. I was feeling a bit nauseous. But the first thing was I took out a new thing, got the system going, and it started delivering insulin. I redid the correction, and around by 6 o'clock, my blood sugar had come down. It came down from 21.9, 21.5, either one of them. And by the time the nurse came in the morning, I was 11.1. So my correction value brought it down. Now, the correction value, I had to do the old-fashioned way. I had to draw insulin, figure out the correction calculation, and give myself a shot. If I had left it by morning, I certainly would have been diabetes ketoacidosis, which is where your blood really turns to acid. And it's something that you have to go and get checked out in a hospital. So diabetes ketoacidosis is not a fun thing at all. In fact, many of you, if you have type 1, probably were diagnosed with DKA when you went into the hospital. And that was sort of like the warning signs that things aren't working correctly. So, by mid-afternoon, well, maybe later than mid-afternoon, around 5, my blood sugar got to 6.1. And then, from then on, I was suited for the rest of the day. I knew I had to do correction because I took a look at what my meter was reading there, and also I did a ketone test. My ketones were showing +2, so I had a little bit of ketones, or 2, not +2. It just read 2. My old urine testing days are coming back. And so my ketones were really starting to go wild. The DKA was sort of like, hello, we're here. But changing that site, taking the correction, brought my blood sugar down. But you would think, oh, well, it brought your blood sugar down. Everything's all right. No. The whole day, I just really didn't want to do anything. I slept pretty much all day. I mean, I was out of it sleep-wise, not diabetic. Even though my blood sugars for the day, after that coming down in the morning, were stable, I still just wanted to sleep. I fell asleep and was sleeping by coordinate. So, things really woke me up. Uh, you really have to be careful when you're on the pump. That if your sight gets damaged in any way, it could lift the needle out of the skin and rest it above, and you could end up getting decreased amount of insulin. Holy shit. But I really knew the feeling and took control of the situation. So, Lord knows how long I was really without the without the needle in my system. I'll call it a needle, it's a catheter, but for sense of people's minds, needle that is under the skin. You say, well, you should have tried the Omnipod, and things wouldn't work, wouldn't be so much problem. Well, the Omnipod could get knocked out, things could happen the same way. So make sure your sites are properly controlled. If you are on needles, let's try this again. Multiple daily injections, then you can also have problems. And with the multiple daily injections, if you forget one injection, you're going to be in this hot water. You could wake up in the night, and first, you get that mouth in your tongue feels like it's two sizes too big for your mouth, and it's sticky, and you want water. And even when you take a glass of water, it's still causing issues. Sorry, this bed. So, the next thing is, personally, I get this feeling, and it's not that I'm going to be sick. It's just, something's not right. So, you've got to correct it. No matter what, I knew from years of experience that I needed insulin. That's the only thing that corrects this feeling, is getting insulin. So I got the insulin, injected it into my system. It brought down, and I guess if I was a 20-year-old, I probably could have bounced back. But God, the aftermath was just, all I wanted to do was sleep. Today's being a little bit better. Yesterday, I didn't record my video, so that was out to lunch. Sorry, guys. But I'm ahead enough that if things like that happen, I've got videos ready for you. So, if you get dislodged and you notice you're waking up and something's not right, change your site. If you're away from your home on a business trip, vacation, chances are this is when things like this are going to happen. So make sure you have your emergency kit with you. Having syringes and insulin, even if you're on the pump. You want to make sure that you can continually deliver insulin. You want to make sure that you have all the site changes for your pump, you have sensors, and not only take what you need, but also take at least double what you need. Maybe 1.5 of what you need over and above. so that you are stable, and if something happens, you can easily correct the situation. I'm personally a heavy sleeper, so it took me a while to kind of wake up and knew what was going on. The sensor, as I said, was reading 14, but all in all, everything worked out and I'm thankful. Got a lot of sleep yesterday, which probably did my body good. With that, that was just a check in of what my day and how I corrected. Probably wasn't 100% correct in the way I treated it, but I survived. Have a great day. Bye now. My email address is Mike's Diabetes World at gmail.com. All one line. Drop me